Alright guys, here's my end of the second week of hand balancing training. First week I trained 4 days, this week I trained 5 days, Monday through Friday. And that is my plan moving forward, to keep training Monday through Friday, taking the weekend off, and let the wrist especially recover and heal. Here I'm doing a reverse tabletop. I usually start in this position because I really want to work on my hip extension as well as my shoulder extension. This is a good pose to do that. Okay, very tight today, hard to keep that straight line from knee to hip. But at the very end I kind of straighten it out to get those femurs out of the pelvis there, and I go into a bent knee position, and then one leg at a time go into a straddle L-sit position and try to widen those legs as much as possible. And again, kind of extend my shoulders and my elbows as much as possible behind me so that my thighs are off of my forearms, okay? Super tough in the upper back and the triceps and the hip flexors, obviously. Very tight and tired, couldn't quite straighten out my knees there, but no big deal. I'm sure when I come back on Monday, it'll feel a lot better. Alright, here's another one. I always start with this reverse tabletop, again, because I want to work on that hip extension and that shoulder extension. Okay, really get those glutes going, really get those femurs, drawing those femurs out of the, hip sockets there. Opening up the chest and all that, okay? Opening up the biceps tendons. And yeah, it just feels good. Nice morning exercise here. So I'll do my grip exercises first, which might take 30-40 minutes, and then I'll get into the hand balancing. Right here I'm going to get into an L-sit. I'm really focusing on, instead of going to a high L-sit or a V-sit position, to really work on my hip flexion and try to get that butt behind my arms as much as possible. Really stretch out the hamstrings and really tighten and strengthen those hip flexors. And this one's not looking too bad. Probably better than usual. Eventually I want to go into like a complete fold there, which would be awesome and super tough on the hip flexors, the quads, all that good stuff. Alright, now here, just some basic exercises for stretching. This is kind of a beginner's bridge position. Some call this a thoracic bridge. My latissimus dorsi, my back, and the armpit and the hip especially are very tight from climbing, so I kind of suck at this one, but it is improving slowly. Great for hip extension and trying to extend the thoracic spine as well as rotate the thoracic spine and the rib cage. I'll do one side and the other. Also decent conditioning of the wrist there and that one arm that is on the ground. It's getting a good amount of conditioning. I'm outside doing this voiceover, so if you hear any birds, I apologize. Yeah, super tight in the lat there in the triceps, so I couldn't quite get in that overhead position, but it is what it is. Ribs are rotated pretty well though. Thoracic spine is rotated pretty well. I'll keep working on it. And here, getting into a basic kind of a down dog position, just as a last exercise here to finish up. Kind of more gently stretching the hamstrings and using the hip flexors here. Stretching the glutes, trying to stretch out those tight, lats again in my back, my hip, my armpit. And working on that overhead mobility in a more a lighter way, okay? And using the hips to help kind of push my shoulders more and more into flexion. I was working on some handstand regression exercises, but I found just my shoulders and my lats and stuff are just way too tight, so gonna stick to this a little while longer and try to master this pose before moving on to maybe like a handstand regression exercise, progression toward the actual handstand. And that's about it, guys. Week 2 over. Week 3 starts Monday. Hopefully I'm a little better by then. Y'all take care. Take it easy. Peace.